Thank you for listening to WYTV7. Can you make us your #1 listen to network? Visit us on the web at WYTV7.org. Contact us. We are currently accepting guests to share their story of hope with our audience around the world.
Hello, everybody. I'm Valerie Gilchrist, and this is Esther's Purpose. I am so excited to introduce my guest tonight. But before I introduce her, I want to remind you all that we're on WYTV7. We're a nonprofit organization broadcasting nationally and internationally. We take donations that'll keep our broadcast alive and keep encouraging people through our broadcast. You can always go to WYTV7.org and make your donation to our organization so that we can continue to encourage people and understand that there is light at the end of their tunnel, that they don't have to stay in the situation that they're in without knowing that there is light. So we always like to make sure that we say that. My guest tonight, want to introduce her to you. This is Ms. Latoya Rose, AKA The Plug, is a millennial and a native of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who operates global businesses. She is a third-generation Black Wall Street entrepreneur and operates Rose Tax Solutions in the historic Black Wall Street district of Tulsa. Her professional experience includes working as an orientation and mobility specialist and a vision rehabilitation therapist for the blind and vision impaired, as well as middle management with Walgreens Company. She has also 13 years of experience in tax preparation, tax debt resolution services, and not-for-profit establishment. Latoya Rose is on a mission to promote global economic justice and accomplishes this with every live broadcast on social media, resource distribution, and live training environment. In her free time, you will find her enjoying live entertainment, her family, and traveling. Her greatest achievement has been becoming the mother of an intelligent, talented, and gifted daughter, Miss Greatness, Elizabeth Rose. You all, national, international audience, this is Latoya Rose. Latoya, how are you tonight?
I am amazing. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. It's different when you hear someone else read your bio. You're like, ooh, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am just so excited to be here on Esther's Purpose.
Well, thank you. We're glad to have you. And I after I do the introduction, I do the same thing on every one of my shows. What we like to make sure that we do is that we encourage our audience. After we get all that out, who Latoya Rose is right now, we always know that before all this promotion happened, there was a life before that. So yes, you can start it wherever you want to start it, but let's talk about before all what I just talked about, before Miss Greatness came on the scene, before all of that, who was Latoya Rose?
Wow. So, Latoya Rose has always been a driven young lady. I started off in entrepreneurship at age 5 with 2 Easy Bake Ovens. I achieved very well in grade school and secondary school. I've always been, on the honor roll, been involved. I preached my first sermon at age 7. I always knew that I had a gift. And with that gift, always is going to come tests. Now, the severity of the test, or I should say the complexity of the standardized test, it definitely is given to many, but only few have the strength and ability to actually move and pass the test. And so what I've come to realize in my life is that everything that I went through, from sexual assaults to domestic violence, even to suicide attempts 3 times, that I have a purpose, and that all of those things truly helped me to become more approachable. It helped me to be human and understand what that looked like. So I could stop being so critical of myself. And it really did just help bring me into my purpose, so that I, instead of being judgmental, I could have the compassion that I needed to really walk fully in my gifts and on this journey. And so, I used to really think that getting an award here and there and kind of always getting the accolades and being the person in the front and getting the spotlight, that was the way to go. And I remember being called a prima donna one Thanksgiving from a family member. And, you know, I was like, a prima donna? Like, I'm the most genuine, generous, giving, you know, caring person that there is. Yet I could see, I guess once I started understanding what a prima donna was, I could see what they meant by that.
Okay.
Like, I had this situation where I felt like I was very intelligent. I was smarter than everybody. You know, if I didn't want to do something, then I wasn't going to do it and you should do it. Or, you know, you're not well off in the sense of you made mistakes and so I'm better than you. So I understood what all is encompassed in the prima donna situation. I also, I think right after college was called a Jezebel. And initially I was like, what do you mean? Like, I carry myself well, you know, I'm not trying to get nobody's man. Like, you know, because when you hear Jezebel in the church, I'm a preacher's kid. First thing you think about is she's trying to sleep with everybody's man. And so I had to realize there was more to Jezebel than just the seducing of Jezebel. It was the thing about the control. I was a person that if I didn't control it, it wasn't going to happen. If we didn't do it the way I said we were going to do it, then it didn't happen. If I wasn't happy, nobody's going to be happy.
Okay.
And so I had a mentor that said, I need you to go and study that. And honestly, I'm glad that she told me that because it really helped me to see that I was on an island. I had literally isolated myself and created a wall like the one they're trying to build in the government, and no one could cross over it. And that's not the way to be. I have been chosen. Not only did I get the same call that everybody got, I picked it up and I went through the whole interview process, and I went through the second interview, and then I came in for the third panel interview to go into the battlefield. You understand? And I have the test. I'm chosen. And so with that, you can't do this alone. You have to have a team. And you have to realize that it's not about your particular wants and desires only. Understanding that as you work with and help other people reach their goals and get clarity and get out of their own way, you naturally, in your purpose, you will succeed. And so pretty much that's who I am. I'm a person who has been misunderstood before, but spiritually in my growth and maturity, I now have wisdom beyond my age. And I believe that it's going to take me a long way. And so that's who I am. And that's how I became Latoya Rose, who has answered the call to so many great things in this field of fiscal affairs as it relates to community building and, of course, as being a mother.
Okay. Well, let me back up just a little bit. The traumas that you had in your life, do you feel like that those traumas that you had maybe gave you that really strong back off demeanor where people maybe didn't understand where it came from? Because, you know, when you say you're a strong woman, when people say, oh, that's a strong woman, for you know, all the wrong reasons, it gives a negative connotation. It doesn't bring warmth like it really should and respect like it should. Because if you say, if someone says that it's a strong man, then people don't typically have a problem with that. But when you say that they're a strong woman, and what I find is a lot of times, because I'm one as well, is that there's things that caused us to have to be strong very early in life. We had to make some decisions about things that happened in our life and how we needed to deal with them to actually create who we are and how we navigate systems in life. Did you find that for you when you were going through those trials?
Nope. That was not the reason why I was strong. That's not the reason why. I mean, honestly, for me, I believe where my strength came was because I knew someone had to be strong. I have a gifting where I can look, even though you're older than me, you may have more money than me, I can see right through people. And so I felt like I was displaying strength because of my giftings and having to protect my giftings, because as I mentioned earlier, you know, the enemy comes And the enemy is really us on the inside. And so I had to ensure that I could stay grounded some way, somehow. Again, a lot of the traumas that I experienced, I believe was literally simply a test to try to take me out. And the minute that my mind got weak and I started to attempt suicide, I actually did it twice at 17 and then again at 27. Those moments were me now just not really knowing how to drop the guard, how to show people I really am humble. And so I think people misunderstood my strength and sometimes misunderstand my strength. It's not about a defense mechanism because of the trauma. Not for me. It really was because I have to be strong and I'm just in that positioning. I had the mandate whispered in my ear when I was 5. You know?
From who? Where did that come from? Who told you that at 5 that you had to be strong?
That I am strong? Not that I had to be, but that I am. So that came as a response to the sexual assault at 5. That's when I got the easy bake ovens and I just put my mind into entrepreneurship and understanding how to supply a need and how to be of a value. And I found my value through entrepreneurship. So that's kind of where the small, still voice came to say, no, baby, you're strong. Because my mind at the time was very much going into a questioning. And I was a young child that was okay being by myself. I'm the only girl. So I was okay being by myself. I pretended a lot. You know, I had tea parties and different things like that. I was a very peculiar young girl. So I knew just kind of going around with other people and trying to have friends. It was very challenging to have friends like that. Like I said, I had a big, large gifting. And so not that I had to be strong, because I had a very strong mother, very strong mother. But just that you are strong so that I wouldn't break and bend and wow out. You know, I've seen some of my friends when they went through just a little something like a divorce with their parents. I mean, that has nothing to do with you as a child. It just wow out and spin out of control, you know? And so for me, I enjoyed achievement. Remember I told you, I enjoyed achievement and things. And so I didn't want to be known. I was big on reputation. My dad instilled in me very early, and my mother too. You know, your reputation, once you lose it or once you gain a type of reputation or what you're known for, you know, you don't have to be what everybody calls you. It's what you answer to.
Well, I said it that way when I said, you know, that you are that you had to be strong. I said it that way because there are a lot of things that happen in our life that caused us long before. And maybe you're one of those people that because you were young, I don't know if someone, you know, talked to you and sewed it into your life, you know, that you were, you know, who you were by 5, but strength was put on me. I didn't know until I was an adult, the meaning of my name. I did not know that Valerie, the definition of that name is strong. I knew that my mother told us all the time that she meditated for a long time as she had her children. She said she never could see our faces, but she always knew our gender. And she studied, she went through names until she found the name for us. And as many years as she always talked about that, it never made me try to look up what my name meant. And so I was an adult and had children, married, divorced, had kids and all of that before I looked up my name. And when I looked up my name and found out that my name meant strong, what it did for me was I started understanding a lot of the trials that I went through in my life. And how I actually was able to, a lot of the things that I've been through, a lot of people would have broken down and could not have gotten through them. And so I like the way that you said it, because my strength was a becoming strength for me because of the things that I went through. I didn't interpret it as I am strong because my mom named me that, because that's what she mused in her spirit while I was being developed, and that was the name for me, and she knew that definition. So therefore, maybe for her, strength was birth, but for me, it wasn't that for me. You know what I mean? So I like the way that you said that, because you had some confidence, even at 5. That you didn't let those things that happened to you break, even though you tried to commit suicide those times, it's you, that strength in you still was able to rise up and overcome that, even those thoughts. And that's a great thing. That's admirable to have. Now, we're going to continue this conversation. Just a second. Let me just remind our viewing and listening audience that I'm Valerie Gilchrist. This is Esther's Purpose. We're broadcasting from WYTV7 out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We broadcast nationally and internationally. Our audience is all across the globe, and we thank you for your viewership tonight. And I'm interviewing Latoya Rose, and we're having a great conversation and want you all to continue listening. So tell me, Latoya, what brought you from all of that to, now you talked about entrepreneurship and the Easy Bake Oven. I love that. That's not the first time you know I've talked about that. I think that is just the greatest thing. But so as you did that, what brought you to all of these things that you're doing now? Because you're talking about, you went from Easy Bake Oven to all this stuff when I introduced you. How did you get there?
You know, listen, I have been doing this literally my whole life, not organized, but I've been doing it my whole life, being creative, helping other people mastermind. There's a hair product locally by one of our, I call him our celebrity hairstylist. He's pretty old, elder at this point. But at the end of the day, even McDonald's, right now, you guys are enjoying Mac Cafe. Well, you know, I was that employee who was just overjoyed, and I put a wonderful suggestion in the suggestion box one day, and corporate came down here to Pine and Peak. No, I was at Southwest Boulevard McDonald's, and we had a conversation. And I told them, listen, nobody wants steak, egg, and cheese on a bagel. Bagels are too hard. We should be able to get it on a biscuit. So now when you go to McDonald's, you can actually ask for your steak, egg, and cheese. That's the reason why, I mean, all of those different things. But again, it wasn't organized. So it wasn't like I signed any type of, you know, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only employee that ever gave them advice. But the thing was, during that time too, you know, they wanted to bring me into McDonald's University. Like I really should be like a franchise owner of McDonald's. Well, I had whole nother direction, I guess. Yeah. But I've been doing this really my whole life. It was around college. It was my junior year in college when I was treasurer at SGA, and I really had a little bit more control to be able to sit with the president, sit with the Board of Regents, go and travel to California with Thurgood Marshall, go to New York. I was able to do all of these things and sit with all of these elders, as I would call them. Anybody that was older than me and not in college, you were an elder to me, okay? You had something for me to learn from. I've been a sponge my whole life, so I've always wanted to know how to coexist with people. That was probably one of the biggest things. And so as I went through those trainings and started putting things together, I got into my master's degree. Well, as I was in my master's working, right before I went to do my internship, I was working in management, and, you know, it just wasn't fulfilling me any longer. The whole, how can I help you? Let me find you, yes, I came into the North Carolina market and literally transformed 4 of their Walgreens's stores, 2 24-hour stores, 2 that weren't. And, you know, that was great, but it just was not fulfilling for me. Like, I literally was just sitting there waiting for someone to ask me for help. And I'm a person that loves to help. I'm a helpful hand. I'm a help meet naturally, right? And so as I started, I left there, finished school, got into the field of blind and rehab. And even in that, after a while, I said there has to be more to my life than taking someone who is physically, visually impaired or blind, taking them from being isolated and depressed about this loss, because they go through a grief process, taking them, there has to be more to it than taking them, getting them back to being functional and hopeful, and just literally, like, I literally every day, the way my professors taught me was, you are working yourself out of a job with every client. Every client, you're working yourself out of a job. And that was the whole point. Your person should not be with you longer than X amount of months, especially for certain types of tasks. Well, because of my personality, my hope, I actually at between 7 and 10, was able to help my niece. I'm sorry. I was 10. She was 5 or 6. And I discovered she was blind in her left eye. And I rehabilitated her then. And so to go into now the theory of a thing, and then to get into the practice after my master's, I said there has to be something to this about, like, there's something about me when it comes to impairment. And so as I continued in my career, started to get onto digital marketing, started to kind of find my way in the digital world. You know, I was still doing taxes. I started doing taxes in freshman year in college, right after getting certified in accounting at trade school. I said, okay, how do I put all these things together? Because, you know, I enjoy numbers. I love educating people. I love to see a person going from being chaotic and lost and confused to finding that clarity, losing that excuses and building their momentum. How do I put everything together? I got a full ride scholarship. I got this double master's. How am I going to use this? And one day in 2016, I woke up. It was about 2 weeks after I left corporate. I've not gone back. And God said, what you do is you help entrepreneurs who have an impaired vision. You help them prepare their vision.
Wow.
And then I said, and then what else do I do? I said, because it got to be more than that. I said, I don't want to be just a life coach. He said, well, no, you have a specialty. You know, you're a transitional life coach. I said, well, hold on. I got more to that. I know I got more than that. Because what about these numbers and money? What about that? What about all this, you know, grinding? How I know how to, you know, make $1 out of 10 cents, you know? And he said, okay. All right. You help people discover their genius and monetize it while complying with the tax law and traveling the world on pennies. While covering their assets. I said, I can deal with that. I can rock with you with that. And so from there, I realized my foreign language is, I have a few foreign languages that most people don't want to speak, and they'll pay to get the interpretation in or the tutoring to do what? Learn it themselves. And so that's what has brought me here into what I do now. It's very interesting. I love IRS. Hey, I like to call them every now and again, especially when I get a wonderful notice. I enjoy just building community. And I just really enjoy people who, when they meet me, they want some hope and they want some direction, and they actually start to execute. So I like that. I like what I do. I love what I do, actually.
Well, you can tell because you are very fluent with it and very clear, know exactly the direction you want to go in. And I think that, again, that goes back to that 5. You intrigue, because this is, of course, not the first time we've talked. We've been building a relationship for a while now. We've had many conversations. But the thing that impresses me about you, that one of the reasons I wanted you on my show, and I'm not saying you're the only one that's like that, but I didn't have all of that vision at 5. You know, to start that off and to even start, I mean, thinking of entrepreneurship at 5, your easy bake oven, and I'm getting ready to sell these goodies, and, you know, to just have that. Where do you, was that a gifting from the Lord, or did you see it modeled from someone and you said, I want to do that? Do you know?
Oh, of course. Okay. I grew up in the church. I'm a preacher's kid. And so, you know, we did fish fry. Okay. We did fish fry. We did bake sales. My dad is an entrepreneur. He's a bail bondsman. You know what I mean? He still has his bail bondsman company. My dad sold things. He sells stuff now. My mother grinds. My mother, to this day, she right now has doctors, lawyers, people who don't want to cook or can cook but don't, just or whatever. They pay her like $100 to make a banana pudding for her. I'm talking about not so big bowls, like just nice food. You know, my mother has always shown me, you know, apply your hands and you can be compensated. Even when you may not have the business licenses or all of the credentials. She's a country girl who, you know, they had a farm, they had a garden. My grandmother, her mother built houses in Redbird, Oklahoma by hand. Okay. So I come from a long line. My grandmother on my father's side, you know, she had her own salon, beauty salon. So everybody came. And Miss Louise Ivy, you know, when Jerry Curls was popping, or when you needed a relaxer, get your ends clipped, you went to grandmama's house to get your hair done. My mother, my aunt, I mean, entrepreneurship and making money and understanding how to circulate a dollar has been it's in my blood. I am I'm third generation Black Wall Street on my mother and my father's side, but it's three generations now living and actually operating on Black Wall Street in the district. So entrepreneurship has been here. You know, it may not, like I said, it wasn't organized. So that's why, you know, when things were going, you know, when people were coming and picking my brain, these big corporations, you know, my mom was like, hold on now, you leaving money on the table. And even now, she'll say, you know, I'll be on a consultation or something, and she'll say, oh, you know, she may say, oh, you done went too long or something like that. Or you need to not, she might call me and I'll have, you know, do the whole I'll call you back thing. And then, what were you doing? Oh, I was on a consultation. Oh, you on the phone too long, you know, regardless if people can pay me or not. Mama Rose think I'm on the phone too long. But it really is. I enjoy what I do. But yeah, it's always been around me.
Okay. I wanted to put that.
And Girl Scouts. And Girl Scouts. Let me see why I went to the Easy Bake. Okay, let's talk about this real quick.
Okay, hold on one moment. Let me, because we're getting ready to run out of time, and before we run out of time,
I was about to say that Girl Scouts, they had me sell them cookies, and they didn't give me a cut. That's why I started doing the Easy Bake.
Okay, yeah, I like. She said, I need to get this in here. No, Easy Bake, because Girl Scout was getting too big a bunch of my money. I like that. Thank you for getting that in. But what I want to make sure is I don't want us to end and you did not tell our viewing and listening audience, because again, remember, we're broadcasting all around the globe. So I want them to be able to know how to contact you. They see this show and they say, wait a minute. Like me, I wasn't brought up as a preacher's kid, wasn't brought up in church, nor was I was brought up as a worker. So that's what I knew how to do, was to work other people's vision. It was late in life before I discovered, A, I had a vision, and 2, I need to spend this energy working my vision. But most of my life, I've been working someone else's vision, and that's just new revelation in about the last 5 years for myself. So I'm glad we were able to get to that. But I want everybody to know, how do I get in touch with this lady? Because like Valerie, who's on the host of the show, I don't even know all that stuff, and she was just going on with it. So because you're a coach and you have all those going, we need people to be able to contact you and say, hey, will you mentor me? What is your coaching strategy? What is your schedule? What can I do? So tell them how to reach you.
So yes, thank you. Please reach me at Latoya Rose Knows, KNOWS.com. That is my calendar, as well as my website is Rose Tax Solutions. So if you need any strategy around business development, taxes, and things, that's where you will find that information. And then I am live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time on Facebook with Rise and Grind Live. So you can definitely catch me there Monday through Friday. And and social media, you can follow me on Instagram. Latoya Rose 86 is my handle.
All right, that is awesome.
And I have a new book that's coming out. I apologize. It's called Rise and Grind, an interactive guide to help entrepreneurs lose excuses, gain clarity, and build momentum in the marketplace. And you can get your pre-ordered signed copy at LatoyaRose.com.
There you go. Go and get that book, girl, because I was wondering, I was going, don't she have a book? She got a book coming out. That is great. Well, Latoya Rose, I have just really enjoyed you on this interview. I do want to remind our viewing and listening audience that I'm Valerie Gilchrist. This is Esther's Purpose. I have been talking tonight to Latoya Rose, and you all just got all of her contact information. Remember that we are a nonprofit organization. We do take donations. You can go right on WYTV7.org and click that donate button. $5 goes a long way. So we can have more guests like Latoya Rose that can come on our show and talk about things you might not know anything about. But you know what? We better figure it out in these days, that we need to get into entrepreneurship and even more of it now. So we've got different streams of income flowing in and out, and not worrying about one being cut off and I don't have any other way to function. That said, let me tell you that you can contact me. My Facebook page is Esther's Purpose. You can go right on Facebook and find me. You can also find me on Facebook, Valerie Parker Gilchrist. You can contact me there. I always am looking for guests on my show that can talk to me about from pain to purpose, that there were things that went on in your life, but that didn't stop you and you just kept plugging along. And here's where I am now. We always want to encourage our audience because we don't know who's listening to us. Somebody could be stuck in the mud right now, but listen to somebody like Latoya Rose and say, wait a minute. If, you know, all the things that, even though at 5 she was doing easy bake, here's some things that still happened in her life and she was able to still keep it moving and still being who she is today with all of those multiple businesses. So it can happen for you just like it happened for her. So contact us. I'm always looking for guests on my show who can come on and talk to us and my audience and just encourage those who are going through things, and even those who are on their way to doing whatever they're doing and they just might be stuck right now and just need some help just to get over whatever that thing is that's trying to, you know, to keep them stuck. We want to make sure that we be that light for you. So we just thank you, our audience. We thank you so very much for always being faithful to coming and hearing and listening to Esther's Purpose. You can also reach me on LinkedIn, Valerie Parker Gilchrist. You can get me on Instagram, Valerie Gilchrist, as well as Esther's Purpose on Instagram. You can listen to us not only here on WYTV7 on our broadcast on Monday nights. You can also catch us on Spotify and on YouTube. On all of those social media outlets, you can always go on there, click on us, and find us and get the information that you need so you too can be great. Thank you all so much for listening to us tonight. Thank you, Latoya Rose, for coming and spending time with us. Give us just a moment as we end the show tonight. We thank you all so very much. Talk to you all again soon. Thank you so very much for listening tonight. Bye-bye.